Mario Kart is a legendary franchise. For generations, this game has consistently brought the casual and competitive together in a celebration of the Mario franchise through kart racing. It's probably Nintendo's most lucrative franchise, even more so than the main series itself. You got games like Mario Kart DS selling 23 million, or Mario Kart Wii selling 37 million. But then we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe selling 69 million. Nice. And really, it was hard to tell where the series could go from that game. Mario Kart 8 was a masterpiece, but it wasn't always one. The original had amazing tracks and gorgeous presentation, but was really lacking in a few areas. The character roster was pitiful, the battle modes were disappointing, and the moment-to-moment gameplay wasn't nearly as engaging as Wii, at least in my opinion. But after a few DLC packs on the Wii U, an expanded version on the Switch, and doubling the course count, albeit with inferior graphics, this game turned into a genuine masterpiece and made the game absolutely phenomenal. That's the legacy Mario Kart 8 holds in my head. A game that went from just being another serviceable Mario Kart to one of the greatest games of all time. And I have the feeling that Mario Kart World will be in a similar boat. Mario Kart World is the 9th main installment to the franchise, the 11th if we're counting these two things. Yeah, the funny thing about 8 is that it was the main game for over 11 years. To put that into perspective, that was the amount of time between Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart Double Dash. Suffice to say, it got a little exhausting knowing this was the only recent installment to the franchise. I was incredibly excited that we were finally getting a new Mario Kart. The idea of an open world really fancied my imagination. The multiple costumes are exactly what I've been begging for, and the characters looked more expressive and wackier than ever. Mario Kart 8 was a very sleek, clean game, while Mario Kart World is a much more wacky, experimental one. One's not necessarily better than the other on that principle, but it kind of emphasized what I wanted the next entry to be. A game trying new things with the formula. And given the fact that it's on the Switch too, I didn't need it to be a replacement for 8 Deluxe. I saw it as what we in the biz call a two-cake scenario. But there was one little problem about this particular cake that the other didn't have. It's $80? Yeah, the $80 price point has always irked me. Here in the States, we just started getting used to $70 games, but the new Go-Kart Scrimbly is $80? At least for the bundle, it's $30 cheaper, but $80? Regardless, I picked up a Switch 2 on day one like the helpless Nintendoan I am, and I played the ever-living crap out of the new Scrimbly Bimbly Jimbly Mario Kart game, and yeah, I really do love this game. It has a lot of things going for it that has kept me thoroughly entertained throughout my playtime. But at the same time, it feels a little bare bones. There's a lot of angles to view this game from, and if someone's disappointed with the experience so far, I get it. As for me, this has almost everything I wanted out of a new Mario Kart game. But I wish it did a little more. So, let's discuss Mario Kart World. But first, let's talk about today's sponsor. This video would not be possible without my will to live after being Mario Karted a million times on Knockout Tournament and having me lose! Use code TTW to add a 10% to your next purchase. The first thing you'll notice when playing this game is just how bouncy everything is. The character animation, the kart drifting, it all feels much more cartoonier than ever before. And that works perfect with the new mechanics. For one, drifting feels a lot looser than in 8 Deluxe, which isn't necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's just different. It kind of feels like 64's drift if 64's drift wasn't utter crap. Gliding has also received an overhaul, as your character no longer carries a glider, but rather your kart turns into an airplane. It doesn't have nearly the same momentum as gliders, but now you have more directional control, which is quite neat. Underwater racing's also been replaced by boat racing, and I think it's a pretty cool addition. I like tricking off the waves. Wait, airplanes, boats. Oh my god, Mario copied Sonic! See? This is why Sonic is better! Anyway, it's good. It's really satisfying getting to do a bunch of tricks on water. Speaking of which, the trick system has also gotten a massive overhaul. You can do multiple tricks in the air, which, truth be told, I'm not sure how beneficial it is. And you can hold ZR during a straightaway to charge a jump. You do go slower during your charge, but once you hit the ground, you get a mini turbo. Sometimes on long straightaways, I tend to chain this move. One thing though is that sometimes I'll try to drift and I'll accidentally start charging a jump instead, which is probably a skill issue admittedly, but it's still something you have to get used to. Jumping is also useful for latching onto walls in order to drive on them. This is probably my favorite new mechanic in the game, wall riding. You have to be pretty precise with it, but it can allow you to do multiple things like access shortcuts, or jump to the ground for a boost. It's so satisfying to use wall riding to your advantage in the race. Finally, they added rail grinding. They are not beating the Sonic allegations, huh? Unfortunately, the rail grinding in this game is just about as exciting as it is in modern Sonic titles. Which is to say, not really. You can chain tricks to gain speed or even grind to stay out of danger, but to be honest, I think it's a little slower to rail grind than just driving. But yeah, overall, I really do like how this game feels to play. It feels like if the polish of Mario Kart 8 met the physics of Mario Kart Wii, which honestly is just my dream Mario Kart. The whole thing is just ultra satisfying to play. Some other things worth mentioning. Drafting got a massive buff in this game, and is super helpful for getting past other players. You also let go of your items when getting picked up by Lakitu, which is a pretty good change, but I'd be lying if it didn't make me cranky at times. Another change the game makes is it automatically holds items behind you instead of you needing to hold a button. And hey, while we're on the subject, let's talk about items. It seems that every item from 8 Deluxe made a return, with the exception of the Piranha Plant and Crazy 8. Some have changed a little bit, like the Bullet Bill. No longer does getting hit by one of these bad boys ruin your entire day, but rather pushes you aside and curbing your momentum. With how hectic 24-player races can be, which we will get into, I think they made the right call. And I swear the blue shell must have gotten buffed or something. That thing makes damn sure that you'll no longer be in first after getting hit. The feather also creeped its way out of being a battle mode exclusive item and now can be used in standard races. It can be helpful, but it's incredibly situational. You can dodge items and hop on walls, but it also slows your momentum down by quite a bit. And with how many straightaways you'll be experiencing, which, again, we'll get into, this item feels more like a punishment than anything. Not really my jam. Returning from Mario Kart Wii is the Mega Mushroom, which is neat. It's like a star, but instead of knocking players over, it flattens them, which I find to be way more punishing. But it is satisfying to pull one of these out of an item box. So, thumbs up, Reggie. Now, some of the newer items are a little questionable. I like the coin-based items like the block and shell. Coins are incredibly useful in this game, as they increase your base speed, but now you have a maximum of 20 coins instead of 10. So while you can get more speed from coins than an 8, you have to collect a lot more to realize that potential. The other items are kinda There's the hammer, which allows you to throw a bunch of hammers in an arc, which are really easy to avoid. And the ice flower allows you to throw ice balls and freeze opponents for a short amount of time. Gonna be honest, I already wasn't a big fan of the fire flower, so this addition doesn't thrill me too much. Also, Kamek is just weird. Instead of being a playable character like how he is in 8, now he's taken on the role as an item. He turns everyone in his path into one of Bowser's minions, and even summons some of them as obstacles on the stage. If you transform into an enemy you haven't gotten before, you unlock them as their own playable racer. That means that the majority of characters in Mario Kart World are unlockable through RNG. It's such a weird way to have some of these characters be unlocked. I found myself grinding Boo Cinema for Peepa, but when Kamek came over, he turned me into a Charge and Chuck. Like, what the hell? Same goes for Peach Beach. I kept turning into Piantas instead of Cataquack, and I had Piana, but I wanted Cataquack. Anyways, characters. Let's talk characters. Most of our favorites from 8 Deluxe carry on over, and they thankfully took out a lot of the trash. But there are some really weird exclusions. No more Petey Piranha? No more Diddy Kong? No more Funky Kong? How are the Wii stands supposed to enjoy their burger with no Funky Kong? All of the Koopalings and crossover characters were Acts 2, which is really unfortunate, but I mean, I don't really mind. And also no Dry Bowser? Man. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the main characters. Just 8 Deluxe's roster, but with some of the fat trimmed. And some meat. There's a whole subsection dedicated to the oddball characters, also known as the creatures. At least according to IGN's website, but I don't know. There's so many strange options here. Some characters I would never expect to see in a car. And I'm all for it. I love the wacky, weird ideas they came up with. The cow, the crab, the fishbone, the cataquack? Hell yes! Some of my most wanted characters showed up through here, like Pianta and Goomba. And yes, I did unironically want Goomba in Mario Kart, and now I finally have him. The main character selection might be a little bit lacking, but to make up for that, they gave them a bunch of costumes. Find one of these dash bags across the map, and you'll gain a strong boost and a chance to unlock a brand new costume. This is exactly what I wanted ever since Tour came out. They could have just made Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Plus costumes as a launch title for the Switch 2, and I would have been happy enough to buy it. What can I say? They're incredibly charming. Some of them that stand out to me are Biker Yoshi, the next best thing to Boshi, I guess. Biker Bowser with the slick hair and blue-colored shell, and Supercharged Bowser? That's gotta be a Skylanders reference. I actually know it's not, but it's definitely Burger Toad! Pro Racer King Boo reminds me of Mario Galaxy, therefore it is good. Road Ruffin Waluigi with a purple mohawk and spikes, oh my goodness. Pirate King Boo is adorable and awesome and badass. And Pit Crew Lakitu is so cute. And of course, Rosalina. My heart cannot handle what I am looking at right now. Pro Racer Rosalina is my main, by the way. Otherwise, there aren't really that many meaningful additions to the base roster. It's not like there's many other characters you could have chosen, but I wish there was a bit more. I don't know, maybe I'm just salty that Lubba didn't get in. But what I will complain about is that some of the costume distribution is really uneven. Mario gets 10, Luigi gets 9, Peach gets 9. Okay, makes sense. Bowser gets 5, and Wario gets 8, and Donkey Kong gets 2? Some of these characters just don't get enough costumes. Pauline had so many in Mario Kart Tour, but in World, it's just her dress and arrow outfit. You really couldn't think of anything else? None of the creatures get any costumes, which is fine, but a massive missed opportunity to bring back Dark Bones from the Mario Baseball series. Didn't think I was gonna mention that of all things, huh? Also, I know everyone's already bitched about it already, but the menu is just way too inconvenient. You do have multiple sorting options, but it would have been much better just to give the costumes their own sub-menu, similar to what 8 Deluxe did with the recolors. Just look how long it takes to select B Wario. What a pointless, minuscule inconvenience not even worth mentioning. Also, they should have added Kleptoad. No particular reason why. But now we arrive into possibly the most contentious part of the game, and that is the Grand Prix. Now, Mario Kart typically follows the same formula, 4 stages per cup with 3 laps each. There are some oddballs here and there, but generally that's what you're getting into. In this game, you do 3 laps on the first stage, drive to the next stage, do 1 lap there, drive to the next stage, do 1 lap there, etc., etc. MK World's whole gimmick is that every stage is interconnected on a big open world, so they added these intermissions between stages. I think they're fine. Honestly, I barely pay attention to what's happening and just vibe to whatever music's in the background. They're definitely not bad, but they're not really gripping my attention either. What is bad though is that you only do 1 lap of every stage after the first. For some like DK Spaceport, that's not really an issue considering it's divided by sections instead of laps, but most of them aren't so lucky. Like, oh my god, I'm finally at Wario Stadium. After 25 years of being the only 64 track without a remake, we're finally here. It's the redemption arc. Oh, wait. That's it? Fortunately, you can still play these stages as God intended through the Versus mode, and at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy they tried something new. Even if Grand Prix is less than perfect, it's still cool seeing them experiment with this new entry. And the road trip-esque vibe they have going on is actually pretty neat. I think if you did 2 laps when arriving at each stage instead of 1, it would have sit better with the majority of people, including me. And I don't think it would have hurt at all to include a classic Grand Prix mode. If anything, it would just give the completionists a little bit more to do. But I gotta say, these tracks, absolute fire. Mario Kart usually has great tracks, and this one is no exception. At worst, some of these stages are just kind of but when this game cooks, oh, it cooks hard. Mario Bros. Circuit is the best starting stage in any Mario Kart game, and the rest of the Mushroom Cup is just amazing. Wario Stadium no longer takes 5 years to complete and has so much more life poured into its presentation. I do miss seeing Wario's face plastered on everywhere, but like, what are you gonna do? Sky High Sundae also got a redemption arc with how many cool tricks and shortcuts are possible. Faraway Oasis, fire. Peach Beach, fire. Dino Dino Jungle, Cheap Cheap Falls, Toad's Factory, Acorn Heights, Bowser's Castle, Rainbow Road, peak cinema. If you held me at gunpoint and told me I had to pick a favorite, I'd probably say Great Block Ruins. It has so many cool turns and neat tricks and alternate paths, and is so damn good. Moo Moo Meadows was a bit of a confusing one to bring back though. I've been playing this for the last 11 years with Mario Kart 8's remake, and I kinda wish Boost Cinema had a little more going on. This was the one I was most looking forward to due to its incredible theming, but unfortunately there's just not a whole lot to it. Oh well. And with a player count going from 12 to 24, these races can be a lot more chaotic, and I am all for that. But obviously, there's more to life than just Grand Prix and Versus mode. Time Trials is back, big surprise I know, and so is Battle Mode, except they only have Coin Runners and Balloon Battle. 8 Deluxe had Bob-omb Blast, Renegade Roundup, and Shine Thief, which were all pretty fun in their own right. So to see them removed when they should have been in the base game is a bit of a real shame. But hey, free updates, am I right? Please bring back Shine Thief. They also don't have 200cc, but I'm like 99.9% sure they'll bring that back in a free update. Just like how they did with Mario Kart 8. But now we have one of Mario Kart World's biggest modes, Knockout Tour. You and 23 other players race across 5 sections of the open world, but every lap will eliminate the bottom players. As the player count shrinks and shrinks, eventually it's just you and 3 other racers on whatever track you ended up with. This is so much damn fun. Fighting in the trenches with the other players and avoiding getting eliminated is just so exhilarating and stressful. And the online for this? Holy sh**. Never have I had a more frustrating, agonizing, unfair, rage-inducing experience with any Mario Kart before. And I love it! This may be the most difficult online experience I've ever had, but to me that just makes it more fun. It's so addicting to play this mode online, and winning these matches are just... it's nirvana. Another really funny thing about the online is that when you're playing versus, everyone usually just picks random stages. That always guarantees a standard race instead of having an intermission for just one lap, and I honestly think it's kind of funny. If you could just choose whether you wanted to have connected stages or the classic 3 laps before entering online, I think that would have been much better. But alas, I don't think many people would have played the connected stages mode in that case. But finally, there's the biggest selling point of Mario Kart World, the free roam. Essentially, you can drive through this interconnected world, practice stages, and find a slew of challenges. I'm gonna be fully transparent for a second. When I saw this racing game with an open world, specifically one that takes place in a Mesa region desert, the only thing I could think of was Cars the video game. About 50% of my early childhood was spent playing this game and its 2 other sequels, and about 70 of that time was just exploring Radiator Springs. Just seeing what sort of secrets I could find across the region, all while Free Ride by the Edgar Winter Group would play in the background. Good times. And luckily for me, Mario Kart World harkens back to that childlike wonder and magic I would feel playing those games. Just makes me pissed this didn't come out when I was 6. But to be honest, there isn't really a very strong incentive to explore the open world. Other than granting an easier way to unlock costumes and some pretty fun missions, there isn't a whole lot to do. The missions you play only unlocks you stickers, which are fine, but who the hell cares? All you can really do with them is switch them out on your cart, which gives a touch of personality, but also, again, who cares? I think it would have been cool if alongside the stickers were some extra form of currency that could unlock you even more costumes or carts. Kinda like Cars the video game. But while the incentive is pitifully weak, I would be lying if I said there wasn't some inherent joy I experienced just driving the open world. Seeing all the little details they packed into this world is just so beautiful. For example, I went to Starview Peak in Free Roam and found that there was a library, just like the one from Mario Galaxy, and a painting of the Comet Observatory inside that just gave me pure serotonin. And I remember finding a bit of an obstacle course inside the giant question block that led to the very top, and seeing a food stand just sitting there genuinely made me chuckle. There's over 394 of these P-Switch missions, but they don't mark the ones you've done down on the map. Same with the Peach medallions, like I don't even think anyone knows how many of these things there are in the open world. So yeah, I think the open world is full of really cool stuff, but is horribly lacking in incentive. Is what I would say if I didn't go on this nice little train ride and got to see all the scenery. Also, I found a UFO and I started to control it, and it was awesome. So maybe the real incentive was the friends we made along the way. But graphically, this game is gorgeous. Definitely on the same level as 8 Deluxe. Well, before the BCP that was. It's a lot wackier and cartoonier like I mentioned, and I'm 100% all for it. And the music is straight up ballin'. The new course themes and remixes are insanely good, using mostly live music like 8 did. But in the open world, there are tons of remixed versions from old Mario games across the entire series. They're wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful. I was taken aback when hearing different arrangements from the Galaxy games while playing. By the way, I don't know if you picked up on this, but I really like Mario Galaxy. Like, it's a really good game. So many unrecognized games get so much love in this OST. There's even some tracks from the Donkey Kong Country and Yoshi games, and that makes me smile. So yeah, overall, despite the massive issues it has, I really do love Mario Kart World. What we were given was absolutely solid on its own. The new physics and controls are especially amazing, and basically what I wanted from the series. The intermissions between courses are decent, but I still preferred 3-lap stages, which are fantastic in this game. And new additions like Knockout Tour and character costumes add such a value to Mario Kart. But I still wish it did a little more. Some of the things I already mentioned, like the lack of costumes for certain characters, lack of a classic mode for online, and the pitiful incentives for the free roam do hinder the game a little bit. But at the end of the day, I adore the gameplay and additions it does have to offer. And given Nintendo's been doing this whole free update shtick for the last decade, I can bet that in a year from now, some of my complaints just won't exist. It's nothing with the base game I take issue with. It's just a lack of certain things that they could probably add in an update. And when this game does get the free updates it deserves, I'll probably have no issue calling this my favorite Mario Kart game. But I still wouldn't say it's worth $80. Unless you add King Babam, then that'll justify my entire purchase.